We are going live.
Okay.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Michael Padmore. Welcome again to another Sunday evening here in the U.S. and a Sunday night in Liberia. Welcome to you viewers. Welcome to On Point, your longest running show on the Focus on Liberia platform. Today we have some very, very distinguished guests with us. And so we'll go ahead and run through our interview and get the ball rolling. Today we're going to be discussing what is number one on topic today in the Liberian community, and that is the Liberia Diaspora Conference that is being held, sponsored by the Liberian government in Washington, D.C. Hopefully, we'll be able to get somebody from there to link us up and give us a short synopsis of what's going on today and at least a presence in the hall. So we'll see how that goes. We are still working behind the scenes. But here we go with our introduction. Mr. Joseph Tao, how are you today?
I'm doing very good, and it's a nice weather here. It's not hot, it's not cold, which is very good. And I'm glad to be here to be part of this discussion.
That is great. That is great. Thank you so much, Joe. And we're glad you're able to join us again. You're one of our dedicated people here, and we acknowledge that, and we do not take it for granted. We know what it is to pull yourself away from family and work and all those things that go on in your daily lives to be here to help give your input into the Liberian happenings. Thank you so much. Mr. Valley VK, how are you, sir?
Yes, Mr. Padmo, Mr. Gay, Mr. Tower. These are very familiar faces. We've become brothers without even meeting each other in person.
I know, right?
Some days we fight, especially me and Gay. He said, I don't want to do it because my people. I said, move right here, man. And then all of a sudden we're cool again and we're chatting. So, thank God for this medium. Focus on Liberia. When people call me Sierra Leonean and I can't go on their platform, Dennis Ja is like, well, if he's Sierra Leonean, It's going to be our Sierra Leone. Pamo and other people were coming. I don't even think about Sierra Leone anyway. But you know, but I don't see Dr. Booty. I don't know if he's coming. Mr. Jerome Gilman, I hope you guys are coming. With all of you guys, without all of you guys, this show is incomplete. Everybody has a vital role to play. And again, thank you very much for having me.
All right, so there you go. That you will come to know him. Just from his introduction alone, you will come to know him. So yes, Mr. Gilman is actually attending a CMC event right now. It's being held simultaneously. I guess the measuring arm with the government of Liberia. More kudos to them. I think we should all do that. So great to them. And Mr. Eastman should be present in the town hall today. Hopefully, he is one of those people we are hoping we can link up with, and that can give us a presence in the hall, even if it's just for a few minutes. So yeah, and Dr. Booty, of course, as you guys know, Dr. Booty is 6 hours time difference, which is a lot on a Sunday evening. So I haven't heard from him today. We are hoping he is fine. If he's able to join us, great. If not, we totally understand. Mr. Anthony W. Gay Sr., how are you tonight, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, grateful for life. Can't complain. Been following the Diaspora conference in DC, trying to catch out snippets of the things because I'm at work at the same time, and this conference is simultaneously happening. So I was able to, catch up a few things here and there, from some speakers and other, interview that happened from individuals that attended the conference, because it's still going. The climax ended today with a town hall. So yeah, we are here, trying to make sense of the whole thing and see, what is in it for the Liberian people. Is the Black administration buying time? What's exactly happening there? So we're here. Hopefully we can get Mr. Eastman, like you mentioned, to give us some synopsis and of the happening in there as they are concluding.
Okay, great. Yeah, and this is not only Mr. Eastman. We have several people. We have several people that are in the hall, including Dr. Williams is in the hall.
Okay.
Glendy James Jr. is in the hall. So we got people in the hall. Hopefully, people can come to us and give us a live synopsis of what is going on there. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But let's discuss. Let us discuss the Liberian Diaspora conference. First, I want to let's talk about how this came about. How did we get here? And do you guys think this is something that should have happened to begin with? I will start with you, Joe Tao. Depressed.
Okay. So just briefly before we even go into it, no, this is a waste of resources and time. What this stuff is the grip that the so-called diasporan, who themselves have no real sense of direction in terms of leadership or managing anything. I will always say this. This demonstrates a grip on Liberia for which the country is not moving forward. I look at the numbers today, and just in Pinsville alone, you have almost 5 times the population of the same amount that is here in the U.S. Every time the political parties and the president, they're running over here, they have to get approval from here. They got to get some kind of recognition from here, and they rarely talk to the people. I keep hearing there's one thing that is thrown around, that we're sending 800 million, we'll do this, we'll do that. Nigeria last year sent 22 billion. The population of Nigeria in Houston, in Texas alone, double that of the total population of the Liberians in the US. Mm-hmm. I never see a single politician come here before you're talking about in the whole United States. I never hear the Nigerians say they must be granted some kind of government position in our country because they send what? Almost 20 times what Liberians claim to be sending home. And this money, we can't even dwell on this because we're not giving it to the government. This is not collecting our taxes. This is our personal project. our personal stuff that we are doing, and they go into the country. If we feel that way, that because we send money now, we have some kind of right to government position or some kind of special privilege, then stop sending the money and see how your children are going to survive. See how your parents are going to survive there, or your girlfriend, how they're going to survive.
Mr. Tao, can I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
So if I'm sending money to Liberia to build my home, the home that I hope to retire to one day, and I see that the government is struggling when it comes to education and healthcare, healthcare that I will one day fall under, don't you think I have a right to then reach out to that government and demand better from that government?
No, that is not the point here. The point generally from the diaspora group led by what I would call criminal organization like Yola is that they think that but they want to use these numbers. Yola, I don't know Yola. Yola have done nothing for no Liberian in any meaningful way in this country. Yola, in fact, is single-handedly responsible for the destruction of that country. The Bacchus Matthews and stuff, where they came from, they were the Yola, the Charles Taylor, and all the people that. So each time this group in this US, when they want this power, they have no real capabilities, and if they can't get it, they try to destroy the country, and then they go and destroy the country. So no, it's not you demanding. It is you feeling entitled that because you send some money to build your own house now, that if the government wants to speak, they should talk to you first. That now you take precedent in the USA because you're supposed to be in a higher level, more than even the people in Liberia. That you now should be, I said this, and let me say this and close. So no, you can demand, you can request, right? That is not it. What is happening here is that they're demanding government positions.
Okay.
They keep saying that they need to look to the diaspora and recruit experts. What kind of experts? I look here just in Texas alone, because I'm not talking, you have more experts in terms of Nigerians and Ghanaians just in one state compared to the entire Liberian population. I don't hear them screaming and shouting. The reason I'm trying to crystallize this like this is because this is where our problem is. The idea of looking somewhere else instead of at home. You know what's supposed to be happening? Us here in the diaspora, we're supposed to be organizing ourselves.
One final question, Chief. One final question before I go forward. One of the things that happened in Liberia that people have been very upset with is that the number of foreigners in the country, the number of people that are being granted white visas in the country. There are those who are saying that before you go look for foreigners to do work visas, and you say those people.
But that's a whole different topic, though.
Can I finish, Chief? Thank you. Before you go look for foreigners to do certain jobs, if you are saying that those experts do not exist in the country, is it why don't you then look in your diaspora community before you look for the Indian or the Asian or the Chinese or what do you think?
So look at what happened here. No, I don't even think that's how it should be looked at.
Okay.
Because what the failure of remember, this is what 21 or 22 years. The diaspora have been in total control in every aspect of the governing system since 2005. The diaspora played the major role. They took over all the areas. You know what they failed to do? They failed to develop the local population because they don't want competition. So what you are pointing out, the diaspora government, Honor Ellen, or Wea and Bwaka, they are responsible. Because if you actually invested, if you didn't say that you have mortgage to pay, man, I was here, I was called. You have mortgage to pay in America, what does that have to do with Liberia? So if you didn't say that, for you to set all the high salaries and benefits, remember, it was based on the diaspora income structure that was established in Liberia. If they didn't do that, and they really had good intention to be able to help that country, they would have developed the local population 20 years. You are talking about almost quarter of a century. Guess what? There was not going to be a question because there were going to be capable people on the ground. Liberia cannot be built from people abroad. My brother, me and you, we are here. We have the name Liberia. We are actually foreigners. We don't have the commitment to the country. We don't live there. We cannot be the one to lead the government. We cannot be the one to play critical role. Look at the role we can play here. If Mr. Padmo understands something in the healthcare, you come in and you lend your expertise. Not to be going that you must be some kind of person in government. You must be minister. You must be representative, all this stuff. I hear my young brother Anthony Gay here. This guy have not been to Grand Judea maybe almost 20 years. but he's waiting for him to run
That
for
problem.
representative. No, I'm
Wait,
just saying
that
something.
problem.
No, I'm pointing
The
this
name of
out.
it.
I'm not singling him up. I'm pointing it out because this is the problem here. Tell me which country in this world that the people that are waiting to go take position in common stuff, major areas like they represent the Congress, they're sitting in another country and they're waiting. When election is about to come, then they come there. You
Okay,
can't
thank
have
you very
commitment
much.
to the country. It
Thank you
doesn't
very
work.
much.
Well, Mr. Tao,
I-
have you been to great
thank
great
you.
today?
No, please,
How are
please.
you
No,
great
I'm
today?
there. I'm just whether you've been
there.
there, you don't live there. So you can't be here advocating that you want to go be represented there. It doesn't work. Look,
All right,
such
thank you.
people cannot commit to the country. We've seen it in two.
Did you see that investment they
We've seen it over two
agriculture?
different presidencies.
Thank you very much.
Let
Thank
me
you very much.
close. Let me close this. We've seen
Okay,
this in
close.
two different presidencies. Diaspora, when they were all over, they had a bunch of friends and even relatives that were in those government. What happened? The moment the government came to an end, everybody rushed back out of there. So if you can have people who want to lead the country, who don't live there, who have other options that they see to be better than where they're going, you can't let them be the one to lead. Okay. Something that be done in Labrador, where the diaspora, their influence in terms of government got to be completely reduced. If we feel that we are experts, we have money, we have good job, because these are the claims that is made here, then let us go and get into the private sector. Then your question that you asked earlier come into play. That then, because we want to go into the private sector, then we'll call on the government and we give them ideas. We come with stuff to say, look, help and strengthen this area, and this area, and we want to come, we want to invest, we want to do stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of Valley,
Yeah.
please take us back on track, please. I'm begging you.
First of all, Mr. Tao, let me agree and disagree with you in some areas. When you take the Nigerian number at 22 billion and want to contrast that with, from Liberia, Liberia's number, I think that doesn't do any justice. The population of Lagos is over 20 million. That's one city. So 22 billion in Nigeria on aggregate is not more than 800 million in Liberia. Remember, there are cities in Nigeria that has the entire population of Liberia. So we don't do math like that. I think that's a bad way of doing math. I want to also say that the money we're sending, the 800 million, is only for our personal business. That could be the case, but you have to look at the economic trickle-down effect. Okay, let's say I did build a house. The second house I built recently was about $80,000. There was one place that I bought almost all of the materials. The steel rod and all of the other stuff, except for the electrical supplies that I got from Eagle Store. If you go to Eagle Store, all of the boys that are working there, and I'm not proud to say this, but the store boys that are working there are all Liberians. The Indian guy on the Robertsfield Highway that I buy all the iron and steel material from has all of his employees are Liberians. Because of the resources that I sent to build my house, Cimenco is able to hire more people or able to retain its employee. So you have to look at a wider spectrum of this thing instead of just looking at it, one way. However, I agree with you on the area that not wholly, because you can be too radical sometimes. Not completely that I agree with, but I agree with you that this whole thing about diaspora thing, I think it's just some sort of festivity. I think it's where people go to show their African suits and their latest European styles. I don't think the intent is to actually yield the necessary results. See, whatever we do here as Liberians should be to benefit the people there. But this thing is about showcasing ourselves. I stayed in Liberia throughout. I saw all of the wars. Stow said that was the last 20 years that the diaspora controlled Liberia. It's been the entire history of Liberia up to 1980 to 1985. After that, it was also the diaspora again. So from the foundation till now, it has been the diaspora. No question about that. Have they been slacking or some delinquency as to improving Liberians? Of course, that's glaring. But I agree with him. We had an all Liberian diaspora conference under Charles Taylor. We were there. This one, Charles Taylor had hosted this in Liberia. After that diaspora conference, Charles Taylor started running behind opponent. They crossed the border, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast. When they came back, we know what happened. We saw World War I, World War II, World War III. All right? Ellen had a couple of these things. What I am saying to us, all of us, is if you know you are from Liberia, you do not need the president of Liberia to call you to go back to Liberia. Nobody have to let you know that you are a Liberian. Nobody have to encourage you to invest in Liberia. You can do that by yourself. I think the president should get on his way back to the country and do the Liberian people's job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So, Mr. Gay, what is your take on the evolution of this conference?
Yeah, before I make my comment, I just want to,
You coming to the president?
I want to agree with Mr. K today.
After I won it last night in Wensano, before you charging you,
I went to 2019. I know what people are talking about happening 20 years ago. But here's the thing. But let me just say this, right? Sometimes we get carried away, and I think Mr. Valley talked about it a little bit. CNN did a documentary, right? 43% of the healthcare professionals in the United States are Nigerian. 43%. Look at that, just the healthcare sector, right? Not other profession. So that should tell you that remittances will be quadruple our remittances, right? And we shouldn't even be making this, comparison. It's a line and date kind of thing. Now, we Liberians have an obligation to channel things in Liberia, not coming to the diaspora, having the diaspora conference, but the government can leverage the expertise of the diaspora in Liberia in so many different ways, right? Have a portfolio where nurses can come and spend 1 month in Liberia, give a service, but they provide housing for those nurses, right? So people go and volunteer that service. In agriculture, in education, some people leave from here and for a whole semester provide teaching and whatever. Other area, but they need to create the environment for people to do those things. Other countries do that. Africa do that. Africans have that professional go back and teach. But the transportation and the housing, the government pay for it. And all these individuals are doing it, they're just giving that service on a pro bono level. But they don't have to underwrite the cost of the movement and accommodation and all of that stuff. So I encourage the citizens to give back to the nation, right? This is something I thought that this, the Liberian government will be, trying to do. People can go to JFK and exercise their services. People can go to the University of Liberia. People can go to other institutions and exercise their services in that way. That's a way of giving back. Everybody can be in the country at the same time. But some people can have a 1 month, some people can have a 6 month, 3 month. It depends. Whatever time you can put in to help your country, you can do that. I just think, and I hope that I'm wrong, but what I saw and continue to see is that people are going to Washington, D.C., and are now thinking to say, oh, we're supposed to do this. Another thing that I observed, the government is supposed to say, look, we have identified X, Y, and Z. This is what we want to do, but we need your help in this area. How can you help us here? Now they're trying to brainstorm as to what to do. You are in your year 2. This is not your first year. You're in year 2. What is your conviction? What drove you to want to be president of the Republic of Liberia?
So wait, please don't take off all track. Don't take off track. My question to you was, what's your take on the evolution of this whole thing? We'll get into the meat of it. We'll get into the pros and cons, but look, the evolution. Do you think this should be happening or not? Do you think this is a good idea?
So when Ellen did it, and even we are administration, they did the diaspora thing. They did something in Liberia, and they did the concerned Liberian thing here in the diaspora as well. So this is not new, right? It's for me. my overall assessment right now, I just think the government is buying time. I may be wrong, but I think this government is buying time.
All right. Okay.
Nothing wrong with them, trying to do what they're doing, but I think it's a long overdue thing, and they're doing it the wrong way. Everybody tries to do the same thing. Nothing different have changed since.
Okay. So before we go to Mr. Morris, we are going to go to Mr. Eastman, Jimmy Eastman. Jimmy is in the hall. Jimmy, welcome. Yeah, and Jimmy is in the hall. Jimmy, can you hear us? Us okay? Mr. Eastman, can you hear us okay?
No.
Okay. Well, why don't you work on the audio, and then we'll come back to you. We'll definitely come back to you on that. Okay. All right. So as we work on Mr. Eastman and his audio, yeah, I will go to Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, we are talking about the genesis of this conference, and we want your take on it. Do you think that this should have happened?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello? I mute the mail. Yes, sir.
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, so Mr. Morris, if you could pause for a second, and let's go to Mr. Eastman. Mr. Eastman, please tell us, where are you? What's going on?
I'm in Atlanta, Maryland, and the town hall with His Excellency is about to start.
Okay. All right. If you could you give us a panoramic view of the place, please?
Okay. All right, let me get you a panoramic view.
All right, there you have it. There's the hall. People are still entering, getting seated.
Yes, getting seated.
That is the town hall that is about to begin. Being hosted by His Excellency Joseph Yima Boyka, President of Liberia. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure before that thing starts, we have to be full. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very large hall. That's a very large hall.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Have you been told
Where?
how the questions are going to be given?
What was the question?
Have you been told questions are going to be processed?
Yes. No, they will not be. They will be coming from the audience as we're told. Okay. I will, when the questions come, when they arrive, I will try to call back in and to give back a live view of what's going on.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Mr. Eastman. We appreciate it as always.
All right. All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. All right, there you have it. That was Jimmy Eastman, our diplomat in DC, and he was giving us just a quick outlook live from the conference hall where the President Boyka, is going to be holding a town hall meeting. I was really interested in the process of how questions are going to come. Are people going to submit questions? Is there going to be a live mic where people can sign up? And then, like how we do in City Hall, City Hall, you get a live mic in one place, and then you walk up to the podium, you ask your question, and you are seated, and the person answers. I was really interested in that. Or are they just going to point people out? When we start pointing people out, then people get nervous. They say, "Oh, you only pointing, the party people out," So I was interested in how that's going to go. It looks like a very large hall. So 2 hours, I don't even know how many questions you can really submit in 2 hours. It's going to be really, really tricky. But I'm glad that the president is opening himself up to a town hall. I think that's long overdue. And I hope people ask very interesting questions. People seize the moment and ask very interesting. Don't go ask politics question, man. Over there, you don't spoil the team. But anyway, so we'll go to Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, how are you doing this evening? Thanks for joining us. And what is your take on the evolution of this conference?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Eastman, and hello to the other panelists. Sorry for being late. I mean, I just kind of want to buttress what Mr. Tower was saying. I don't agree with him often, but I kind of agree with him on his sentiments because I think we in the diaspora, not everybody, but we like to think we are more important than we are. And it's that hubris, that arrogance that take us back home. You see people, no offense to anybody who want to do. People who are working at Walmart, people who are working in factory want to go and be senator and representative in Liberia. Because they think by virtue of being in this country, they are better, they have better, exposure, so to speak, and they're well positioned to lead in Liberia. And it's not the case. When people want to use their citizens to go out in the diaspora and really help to develop the country, take the model of China, even though we don't have the same political system as China, but they sent their citizens to the top universities in the West, to Europe, Oxford, Harvard, other places, and those people, whatever, maybe they got different blood, but they're patriotic enough not to want to stay in the United States after they get their education and work here. They go back home, they have a nice engineering job, they work in their country and they develop their country. Liberia started to take a chance, a step like that before. Even on the child center, when I was in Liberia, I remember I have a family member, a extended family member, who came to this country on a scholarship to go to school and go back home. Never left. Now he's a prominent lawyer. He's well known on the social media. Never left. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we are not going to develop Liberia by going back home. We have a part to play. I'm not saying we don't have a part to play as a diaspora, but the people in the country, we are probably like 1% of Liberia. And out of that 1%, what's the percentage of diaspora in Liberia that can actually help the country besides sending money to the relatives? So let's look at the country from within.
Do you think there should have been a conference?
The conference, I think, is self-serving, right? Because I think the real issue here is not even about Liberia and the diaspora. It's the lack of services, like I keep saying, the lack of services to the diasporans in Liberia. You want us to go back home and invest? For many Liberians here in Minnesota, for example, you want to go get a passport now, you want to go do something, you have to fly to Washington, D.C. Our services has eroded since this government came to power. It started when George Weah was there at the end of his term. But we don't even have the services as diaspora in Liberia to even connect with our country again. We have to fly from here to go to DC. The one in Chicago is closed down. I think there's only 2 functioning consulate in the United States now for the Liberian government. That is, I think, Atlanta, New York, and then the capital, the embassy in DC. So it's bad, man. But let me say this: I think the president is doing this, to gain favor with the likes of Dr. Don, and other people like that. Another thing he did is he bypassed the ULA, and went to almost like a private organization, somebody who is not a leader in a community here. He's not a member of ULA, doesn't have an organization that's leading Liberians as an umbrella organization. So that's why I kept asking you. We talked about it on the show on Friday. Even if they come up with something concrete, even if they come up with something that they want to do that's going to benefit us in the diaspora, who's going to implement it? Is it Dr. Doug? Is it the other doctor, Erasmus or whatever his name is? Who's going to implement it? These guys don't have the organizational, institution to do it. When you bypass ULA, when the president say, okay, we'll get 50,000 so we can do more engagement with diaspora, who's going to do it? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes in? So for me, I think Liberians as a whole, we need to understand when we're sending money back home, we're not sending it to the government. Like Mr. Ali was saying, you're sending it for your own purposes, to your family, to build homes back home, and so on and so forth. And when people compare Nigeria to us, it's not even a comparison. With 3% of the population of Nigeria. Nigeria has 200 million people. We only got 6 million people. So when we start talking about Nigeria and Liberia and how they're 45%, look, the amount of Nigerians in America is in the millions. We're in maybe 250,000. So we can't compare ourselves with Nigeria. Okay. And lastly, I would say this, Mr. Padmo. Look, President Boyka is a divisive president. And I know Mr. Kamara, I like to hear it. I like to be fair to the president about criticizing when it's relevant. He's not a unifier. This country, this diaspora that we're in, there's different political affiliation. You see the things that's going on in the country. He's not making any comments on it. He's in the United States. He can make a Facebook post, show concern of some of the things that's going on back home that have political implications. He's not even sensitive to those issues. And then I heard him talking about how he's trying to unify Liberia, the United Nations, when the country is more polarized now than ever. So I think he's filling in that front. Diasporans in Liberia need to focus on building here in a stronger diaspora and having the services here that we can connect back home. Not making some flimsy conference that's not going to give anything tangible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, we're still on the conference, Mr. Tao, and I was coming to you. Okay. So this is what I mean. What I keep hearing from people is that the people that went down there, they are kind of self-serving. They go in there to just show their own chest, to show who they know, and who to hang out with, who they hang out with, and who they have their rapports with, and all that stuff. But at the same time, there is still a lack of connection between Liberia taking full advantage of its diasporan community. Mr. Tao, you are of the strong opinion that diasporans should not be looking for a government job in Liberia. What do you believe diasporans should be doing to contribute to Liberia?
Okay, thank you. Before I go to that, I want to clarify a couple of things. I mentioned it, and I think maybe Kamara look at it differently, or maybe I didn't clarify. When I made mention about Nigeria and Liberia in terms of the qualified people and the remittances that they send home, I was not making an apple-to-apple comparison. The point I was making here is that whether there are 200 million people with respect to Nigeria itself, not comparing them, I don't see where they feel entitled. That somehow, because they send that money home, that they're entitled to some kind of government job, that if the government in Nigeria supposed to make a decision if there is an election coming, political parties should be obligated to come here in the US to talk to them, to hear from them, to get their input. That's the problem that Liberia is having. That is the point I was making. I was not comparing the both of them in terms of population or whatever. So that sense, but now I will come and then about when you send money back home. Yes, you send money back home, they build the house and they hire people. And that's that. It should not be that because you send this money back home out of a certain, you have some type of entitlement that you should serve in government, because all this stuff centered around anytime the claim is made by people who make them, it is about them having some kind of right to a government job. And I'm saying no. If you send your money back home, if you build some house, if you hire people, if you employ people, yes, that you're making contribution in the country. But that does not mean that out of a certain, the government, any government or political party want to talk, they can't say anything because you send 800 million. They should look at you first. They should consider. They should hear from you. That's nonsense. We need to stop that. That is a point that I was making. But look at what happened here. You see, the diasporan group here. We are here, right, Mr. Padmo, to come to your question. I'm not saying people in the diaspora should not have government position. If people can be in the government, but this sense of entitlement that the diaspora is so exceptional. Man, I know a lot of these guys. At home with a lot of them. Most of us here, look, they say charity begins at home. I keep asking this question. Show me an organized, structured Liberian community in this country that is running in and out. They say charity begins at home. If you can't even do it here, I've traveled all over the place in 30 years. Everybody's divided. We can't even come together to organize ourselves in a way where we can even benefit each other. Then we want to jump up. Then we want to have this notion that somehow we are exceptional and we can go back. We should go back to Liberia and take government position. No, look at how we should engage. Listen, look at how we should engage your country. And no, look at how we should engage your country. If we feel that we are experts, if we feel that we are wealthy because these are the claims that are made, if we feel we have good jobs, what we're supposed to do is to organize ourselves here, and we can engage the government. Say, look, what we're supposed to focus mostly on the private sector, but if that area is weak because of infrastructure, these are the areas we're supposed to be addressing. We can, okay, I will give myself as an example. There are a lot of things I tried to do in Liberia. I try to even bring partners there from China and from here. Just electricity alone kill a lot of stuff. There's some things I'm trying to do that now that can't work because by the time I try to generate power by itself, the power is not stable. All of a sudden, it open me up for all kinds of corruption because I have to start buying a generator. I have to start buying gas. Then, hey, how much? Why you use 40 gallons? And then I have to start dealing with all this because there is no light. So what that does, it restricts. So now I'm thinking about pulling things out and looking at maybe Ghana or Nigeria because I need the things I try to do to work. These are the areas that's when we're supposed to look and engage the government. But not everything. God, look, man, we are all here. Anytime these groups speak about they need to look to the diaspora, it's not about us coming together to go and help the country or to go engage in the private sector. It's always about government job. Let me close on this. I listened to one of the program, and Mr. Morris was on there, and then there was some other guy. I forgot his name. Maybe Morris might know. I think it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday. And there was the Eula people were on there. I don't know if you remember that program.
Yeah, that was a guy called Brooklyn.
And this point here is Morris always made it, and I make this point. That each time they think that they have to get involved in government, that's the only way they can engage the country. That is why you will always hear that the government should call them to go home because the government should come and hire you. For you to go home, they try to hide all of this. And the so-called ULA director start saying, no, like when have ULA ever been in politics? ULA started with politics. He wanted to give the background about how Bacchus and set it up. What was it? For them to try to go take power. I'm not saying taking power is not right, but they don't have the right mindset. They have no real program. And they're still on the same trajectory. And they want to deny this stuff.
Okay.
And so just by trying to deny it, it's being deceptive. It means they didn't say they don't have good intention for the country.
Okay.
To 2 seconds before you go to Mr. Kamara, please. I don't want to say something on Nigeria. Mr. Tawo, you're right on most of the things you said, except that Nigeria, the difference with them is that they can actually vote. I don't know if you know that. Diasporans, Nigerians can vote. So that's why you see a lot of political parties coming to the United States.
Okay.
No, listen to what I'm saying. They're constituents. Hold on. They're constituents of these people. So they have a say in how the country is ran, and they have a say in the politics. So people are trying to come over and court the diaspora. Eventually, if we get voting powers, I'm sure people will come over to try to court the diaspora and voting bloc too. So
let's step back for a second now, because you have to understand too. Okay, we all have to understand a certain thing. Yeah, people have always tried to quote the diaspora community, but when did this thing really ignite? It was when Darius Dillon ran for senator, and he didn't have money. And where did he turn for money? He turned to the diaspora. There was the diaspora that funded Darius Dillon's Senate campaign. And from there, other politicians look and say, wait. But I need to tap into that. And since then, even presidential candidates, all of a sudden you start seeing CDC USA, ANC USA, United Party USA, because they all realize that don't put all that got money, and we need to tap into it. Now, if you taking my money, I better have a voice. If you want me to shut up, you need to leave my money alone. And you can't blame anybody for that. Let's be honest here now. Now,
Spoon TV ran that whole campaign for him, Mr. Pablo. You know that. I said Spoon TV was the one that really propelled him. The likes of Ben Sammy, they were really spreading that guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to give them that part. Now, when you talk about government job, that's a whole different thing. But the voice, if I'm going, I don't know if you guys remember, when Darius Dillon first announced his senatorial campaign, he was against diasporans' citizenship in Liberia. When the diaspora supported his campaign, he changed his tone. Sorry, he said, okay, yeah, I will accept. I think diaspora should have citizenship. They shouldn't run for president, vice president, and call a few other things. Because guess what? The people lean onto him and say, we're not going to be giving our money, and you don't promote what we are doing. That's politics. That's unfortunately. But we totally understand. Like I said, when it comes to position, government job, it's something that we'll always talk about, especially since what's your latest name? Ellen. What are money from Ellen?
Cochran.
Oh yes, Ellen Cochran, and what happened? and how she was accused of corruption, and then she fled the country, and the Liberian government was unable to touch her. Of course, that yes. So it does bring you the question where your loyalties lie, and are you able to, will you be held responsible for things that you do? So yes, definitely, that does come into play. Mr. K, my man, back. Put your real name. I know who to call Mr. K. Mr. Kamara. Yeah, man. Mr. Kamara. Let me ask you the question. There are people in this country who support United Party strongly, very strongly. Do you hold them at fault for going to this conference and trying to meet with their leaders and trying to rub on with their leaders and trying to celebrate their leaders and how do you call it, commune and have that to brotherly community with their leaders? Do you fault them for doing that?
I don't want to politicize the Diaspora conference. I believe that Mr. Eastman is not from the Unity Party, and the legs of Mr. Eastman are many at that conference hall. What I can continuously say is that we should expect nothing different from all of the other conferences that have been held regarding this thing. The reasons are very simple. One of them is people should ask the question, why do we need to invite diasporian to a land where they have birthright? Why should you be invited? And I hear a lot of comments on whenever this question is posed. Or where the playing field now level, we need certain conditions to be met. We need the government to meet us halfway. But the last time I checked, Eagle Store, owned by Lebanese, there have been about 9 different stores just around Maserati County alone. They're Lebanese. They're now waiting for those conditions to be provided to them. The last time I checked, the Indians are taking over the Liberian economy, including petty trade. Liberian diasporian are paying $600-700 in car note, yet talking about the need specific invitation and certain condition must be provided for them. I don't see any logical reasoning in this argument. Mr. Palmo here has been a nurse in this country for almost at least 20 years. Mr. Palmo, who do you need to give you invitation to go and open a pharmacy, a clinic? Why can't you lobby with some of your colleagues and friends over here so that people can have a certain percentage in your business so that you can go and establish it? Legalize it. Why do you need Joseph Barker to come to Washington, D.C. before you can do that? So I don't understand the Diaspora conference. I think it's just a mere festivity and let them enjoy themselves. But again, what we sit here and say, Joseph Barker is divisive. And we can't really point to anything tangible except we say things are happening around the country. What are some of the things that are happening around the country that involves Joseph Barker and his divisiveness? So this kind of broad brush that we just brush around with, we shouldn't be doing that in discourse. Let us be specific. Thank you, Mr. Padma.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I will not tell you about the wholesale pharmacy that are open in the last 47 days.
I'll give you an example.
So yes, but anyway, don't worry, I will cancel. We can take we can open a satellite place there in Lofa. Okay. Yeah. but yeah, but yes, that's my question.
Rally both of us are alone too.
That would be advantageous for me.
Yeah, here's my question to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who let's not kid ourselves. There's the Lebanese and the Indians don't play on a level field in Liberia. Let's stop. Let's stop that.
That's
There's
another
not a
excuse.
level playing field. Okay, I will submit to you that they don't allow things to hold them back. Even if the fee is level, they go there and they on level A. Okay, but they don't allow things to hold them back. I agree with you. They have created a system where they send somebody in from, that person will create the route, and so when others follow, that the others will follow on that person's route and make things easier for them. And that is something the diaspora has not done. The diaspora has not created a foundation in Liberia where they say, okay, when other diasporans are coming, are going to John, because I know John has put his route down. So when I get to John will show me the ropes on how to get things done. I agree with that. But my question to you is, as much as the diaspora might need Liberia also needs the diaspora. Liberia is in need of foreign investment, right? Foreign capital investment. Not just foreign investment, but foreign capital investment. Foreign capital that the diaspora have. So this is not only for the benefit of diasporans. So if the Liberian government is waiting for diasporans and they are not coming, don't you think that the Liberian government then should reach out like how they are reaching out right now and say, look, we'll have a conference. You all should come. This is your home. This is where you were born. We shouldn't even be inviting you. We should not be holding a conference. But say y'all can't come, we'll come to y'all. Like they say, if Muhammad won't come to the mountain will come to Muhammad. So what do you say to that?
You know, one time there was a story about a bird. The head is very big, but it has no body. So every time the other birds will play around, the food, try to eat, this bird will just put a head outside and the other birds will run away and they will eat all the food by itself. So one day there were a few stubborn birds that said, we ain't going nowhere. So the bird comes out with a head, shake his head, nobody running anywhere. So he decided to come out. When it came out, it had absolutely nobody. So they laugh at it, but say, oh, so all the big money you're making, you're not even getting nobody. The reason why
you trying to say Mr. Palmer got be here?
No, I didn't say that. The diaspora, all the things they're doing, you got to come for all, you got to come for all, they ain't get nothing. Mr. Pamo, if you have money, you will go to Liberia. Like, no matter how long you live here in this place you call the diaspora, life is never better for you than Liberia, except if you don't have the cash to survive. If you already have that money, you really have that money, you'll be excited to go back to Liberia. Let me tell you one of the problems diaspora are facing with getting to really penetrate their government. They're too political. Every diaspora you see is either fighting the CDC or fighting the United Party or fighting the ANC with their whole face on the internet. Now, when you fight the CDC so badly, and then all of a sudden you want to get a deal, CDC steps on you. Political retribution. So we need to define what we want to be. Do we want to be politicians? Do we want to be investors? Do we want to be business people? What do we want to be? And can we learn to actually live together? Look at our life in Liberia here. I live in this big apartment, only me and my daughter. I wouldn't tolerate any kind of person here, whether from Liberia or not. That is not the case with the Mexicans or other people or Indians. You have 6 Indians run in this country together. They stay together until all of a sudden each of them have companies. We don't operate like that. We're Americanized even before we come to America. We are Europeanized even before we come to Europe. So the ability to work together is not there. There are no big factories or companies here or anywhere in the world where it's not a conglomerate, where people from all sides, where it's not a venture, where people from all sides contribute something and get certain percentage every month out of what they contribute. We are not capable of doing that. And unless we can actually do that, void of politics, you know, we are far away and all of this stuff. People can go out there and enjoy themselves, you know, drive over there and do their thing. But but it's the simo.
Okay, Mr. Elvis, something was mentioned concerning what you said earlier. I will allow you to address that, and then also I will allow you to also address the topic. Go ahead.
Okay, look, Mr. Kamara, people have accused me now of switching sides and supporting, United Party, but it's not the case. I can criticize the president and I can praise him when I see, when I see praiseworthy things being done. Like I always praise him on the drug fight. I think he's doing a lot, he's doing a better job than the previous administration. But when Mr. Ja had a show on Thursday, I think that was an excellent show that he did. Usually he tend to lean a little Unity Party bias. Well, he was stating facts that Unity Party has been suppressing the freedom of expression and freedom of speech of the CDC. Anytime they want to gather, whether it's in like a political, gathering, or even to welcome the political leader, they're always squashed. They're always, suppressed by the police. So to say that the president is not divisive, he's not picking out one group of people and trying to suppress the political voice, that would be unfair. So I'm saying that. Yes, I'm saying that.
One second. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How is it the Unity Party? Did you see the Unity Party over there?
Oh, Mr. Don't play semantics. This is a Unity Party led government.
Oh man!
So the
police is in the Unity Party. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, this is a government led by a political party, right? The Unity Party won the election. This is their government. When we say the Unity Party ran government, this is what we mean. So please don't try to obfuscate or try to hide the president for what's really going on and hide behind, this is not Unity Party. This is a Unity Party led government. So when I'm saying these things, I'm not saying it to be unfair to the president. These are things that we can all see is blatant. But onto the topic, right? I would agree with you. One of the things that you said that is, we don't have the kind of resources that we think we have. And let me say why I say that, right? A lot of people here are making six figures, right? But even the people that make six figures, their lifestyle most often reflect that. So their car notes, their mortgage, their kids are probably in private school, they have credit card bills. They can't just go into their bank account and take a large sum of money and take it to Liberia and invest it. And that's one of the things in this country. We tend to live on credit. We may have a decent job, but most of our money is tied up in recurring expenditure, whether it's bills and loans or other things like that. So the Indians can go to one of their billionaires, or one of the people that got, like loan sharks. People, believe it or not, in India, they got loan sharks. People who know your family, they will give you a sum of money. And every 5 years, you got to go back and pay a specific amount, or they can take your home, they can, take your daughters. So there's a big thing in India. Those Indians can get a large sum of money and go to Liberia. And like you said, they have a network that they can already network with, and people who will help them get into the business thing. They're foreigners, so they don't mind paying bribe. They will pay to play because they know they're foreigners. They're at a disadvantage. Most Liberians would not take that. They would say, "This is my country," and you want to bribe it, or go on Facebook and start talking about how the people trying to, take their money. So the playing field is completely different. The mindset of an Indian or a Lebanese is completely different. They know that they got to bribe. They know that they got to, grease some palms. Most Liberians cannot go to Liberia and open a $200,000 business. Most of them can't. Even people that are making $100,000, they can't do it. They don't have the capital on hand to do so. So the point here is that we should tell the government to focus on the citizen that's in the country. Build capacity with the citizen that's in the country. Let them build up the country. If the infrastructure is better, if the landscape is better in the private sector, most Liberians can come and try to start businesses. Well, you can't go there and try to build roads. You can't go there and try to build industry when you don't have the capital that's necessary. That's the big thing that I see that's holding us back. And another thing here, Mr. Palmore and the likes of you, who are businessmen, who have some resources, you guys don't have a diaspora organization. For all the brain power that you guys have, you don't have a business organization that is a nationwide organization in the United States where you're even, looking for investments. Even looking for investments to say, look, we know like most Liberians don't have 10,000 to the name to say I will invest. But if you have $1,000, buy a share in our company. We're going to start a company. This is what we're going to do. These are shares we're selling. You invest in a company. We'll have $1 million. After a year's time, a racing fund, and we can go start a big company. Nobody is doing that. Nobody is doing that. All the respected business people that we know are doing business in Liberia, they're not coming together. Everybody want to do their own independent thing and show how successful of a businessman or businesswoman they are. Nobody's coming together to put their resources and compete against the Lebanese and the Indians. Why are we not doing that?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I'll hold my peace. I'll hold my peace for that. I want to bring it back to the conference because that's what we said we're going to discuss today. So I want to talk about, even if we have negative this conference, this is what I want to pull out of people today. Is there anything good? Can we gain anything from this conference? Even
Mr.
if you
Tao,
feel, yeah, I'm going to Mr. Tao first. If you, even if you feel like it shouldn't be happening or it's a waste of time, is there anything to gain from this conference, Mr. Tao?
The only good thing as is said that we can gain from the conference is that at that conference they need to realize that it's a waste of time. That's one good thing that can be gained from the conference. Yeah. Because realizing that it's a waste of time, then you change strategy. Okay, so that's one good thing. But look at what happened here at the conference. If the reason that is difficult, because remember somebody said here that we are split, like they're politicized. Everybody go in and they have their own little clique. Nobody really looking at the collective diaspora for us to all look at what is common to us all. Other than me being CDC and all this one, what is common to us all with respect to Liberia? Because that is what we are looking at, right? You made a couple of you or other year made a very strong point about the Lebanese people, right? In Liberia, they already have a photo, they have all this stuff, and they have, you know, that at that conference, let's just say if you're here, some of the things they're supposed to be bringing up, written and proposal and everything with Dr. Don and whoever them. But you see, these guys are not invested, these guys are not nation builders, these people are political people that just hold political jobs here and there. And that is the trajectory which this thing continue to move on. But if it was not for that, look, the diaspora here, we have the interest to invest and come back and do stuff and try our hands in different things. But look at the conditions that we are facing. And I will give, for example, like about Honor, it was Honor Ellen first, then Honor where we tried to see if we could go into agriculture, and we wanted to bring in some machines. So we engaged the agriculture ministry. Everybody was lined up to see what they can get. When we took the list of the things we wanted to bring, the kind of custom that they were trying to charge for clearing, it was nonsense. We went all over and nobody wanted to hear anything, yet they say the country have food problem. So the diaspora group, the EULA is a political organization. But if they were not, if they were really, they're not an organization that built anything to do anything, they tear things down. That is what they did to Liberia. But organization like EULA, that is the biggest one, if they have people that had the actual mindset, because I don't think any of them have it, because I look at their programs. These are the things they're supposed to be advocating. These are the things. It's not about them showing up there and then their leaders getting some job. So that, because remember, you said they look up to the diaspora and the leaders. Now, these are the ways in which we could leverage. Now, look, we are trying not about bringing, continue and selling stuff, but we are trying to look at the problem that we have. Imagine if the conditions were favorable, there could have been some farms. And I'm not the only one, I know a lot of other people. We tried to bring some trucks. I brought one of them in. They were charging me, it was Honor Ellen. They charged me almost twice the cost of the truck. This was to be able to move stuff.
How do you reduce that if you don't have a conference?
Let me just say 10 seconds, right? The policy at the Freeport is that when you import something, because I just imported something like Liberia, the price of free is based on the value of the item you're selling. So if you're selling a nice Cadillac, a big Lexus, they're going to base your import fees on the value of that thing. Not what it is used, it's based on the value of it. So just keep that in mind. That's how they do their policy at the Freeport.
Yeah.
But what you're telling me is that if I buy my vehicle for $7,000, then I go to the port. So then how are they charging me $7,000 to clear in?
Well, that's what you buy. That's what you bought it for. But if it's actually worth 10,000, they're going to charge you for
Wait,
for the value of a $10,000 car.
for 10,000.
No, because let's say somebody's selling you a $10,000 car for $7,000. You'll purchase up a value in due course, right? But the reality is they're looking at the actual value of that car. When you look at Kelly Blue Book, they may tell you, say, okay, in decent condition, it's worth 10,000, but you got a buddy who sold it to you for 7,000. You had a $3,000 deal, but they're not going to consider your $3,000 deal. They're going to charge you for the value of that property based on the book value, especially when it comes to cars. So keep that in mind, which I think is unfair, but that's their policy. That's what most people don't understand. So they feel like they're being bamboozled.
Mr. Morris, that's part of the policy, but not quite. Look at what's happening at Freeport. They're double dipping. Remember, the Freeport is already privatized. You see, this is the kind of con games that were played on Ellendale. The port is privatized already.
The diaspora. Let's come back.
It's privatized to APM terminal, even though these people only control one terminal. But based on that debt forgiveness, you see, we don't look at the history of what went on in the country. That debt forgiveness, those are some of the fruits of it. That if we forgive your debt, you are going to hand over money-making infrastructures in the country. Some countries refuse that. So the port is privatized. So look at what's happening here now. The reason the fees are so high, APM terminal is already charging you. The same government are already privatized the port. Come and seek themselves there again and charge their own fees on top of what APM terminal is charging. So they're double charging.
I think Mauricio, they're talking about duties, but duties are not the only fees.
Yeah,
you're actually right. Duties are not the only fees.
Yeah, so they're doing it, but look at what happened here. So, but these are some of the stuff that us in the diaspora, these are the areas we're supposed to engage your government. Okay? Because if we are
that's what I wanted to hear. Let me hear that part. Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is how we're supposed to engage the government. That look at the problem that we're having. We're trying to come in to invest. You say that we should come. We want to bring in agricultural equipment for us. Look at our farm. Look at all of the stuff. Look at the farmland. Look at everything. Look at what we are doing. But we want to be able to go on a mechanized level. But we are trying to bring some caterpillars and some tractors and some plowing machine. Out of a certain look, we are hitting a roadblock. Man, we went everywhere from agriculture ministry to everywhere. Everybody will line up on what they can get. And when we look at it, it won't even work. We brought in a truck that's supposed to help on one of the farms. The truck was bought for like around $50,000. The guy wanted almost $20,000. For what? So, and this was on the Ellen. We went all around, and then finally, my cousin, who is a broker, knew somebody through TC Goo that then was a representative. They say, okay, they have duty free. So my cousin, he was thinking that you have to buy their duty free. These are the same lawmakers that actually pass these bills. They get and said duty free. Then they take it, money that's supposed to go to the country. They sell it.
It's a tower. Did you do your research before sending that truck? How much it was going to cost you? Did you have a rough estimate?
But that is not even that, Morris. I understand what you are saying, but it's not even that. But look at what happened here. So, but let me just land on this. Then they say like, okay, 8,000. Then then they came to like around 6,000. Everything was paid, and for the thing to be clear, then they say the president traveled to say Frida Tamba, that lady that was LRA, that the paper left on her desk, and she traveled to Ethiopia with the president for 1 week. They came back and they charged us another $2,000. Where's Frida from? From the U.S., from the diaspora. So these, and I'm not the only one that had this problem.
No, you can't believe Frida
these
now.
are the ways in which we engage the government. So look, these are the problems here. So if we can organize ourselves, like Mr. Morris was saying, where is the organization to really get us together? That not people looking for a government job. Because
so,
like
let me see if I understand what you are saying now.
Yeah.
One of the good things that could come out of this conference is, for example, the diaspora getting together and pressing on the government to provide certain leverages, like for example, a reduction in port fees when we are importing business materials and business and business vehicles and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and let me clarify this, or let me qualify this.
Please.
The person, the diaspora, must have a viable business. Because I was there during the Ellen first term. Everybody was shipping under that condition, and they were pretty much doing business. They were selling. So yes. So I don't want us to miss. So if I am saying, look, I'm bringing in 10 tractors and 5 trucks, I have this farm. The government supposed to be able to, through agriculture ministry, whatever, custom, whatever, they're supposed to be able to verify this and see that this is bona fide business that's running. These are the things. Yes.
Yeah, you register. Register business.
Yeah, where people then jump in it and then they start shipping for personal stuff.
Would you be okay if there was a limit to it?
There was a limit in terms of what?
Yeah, there's a limit to it where you say where the government, because the government depending on taxes too now. So will you be okay if there was a limit to it where the government said, look, okay, we will give you a reduction, 50% reduction on the first $100,000 per year. Anything over 100,000, you have to pay full price.
Yeah, okay. Whatever they can arrange. But our government, we're supposed to engage the government from the diaspora so that they can be able to help us. Because remember that if the Lebanese person is coming in, and if he's bribing, let's just say, why should I bribe level as a Lebanese guy?
Mr. Tower, please.
I'm coming to you, Mr. Morris. I'm coming to you.
So if the Lebanese guy bribing, why should Mr. Kamara or myself or you do the same? But we should get some kind of condition. Okay, we are coming back. So these are the ways in which we should say the government call us back, but not for them to come here. Do you know how much money they're spending by just being Washington D.C. when JFK cannot get dialysis machine, and the dialysis machine. You that here, Mr. Padmo, you can get probably 2 or 3 of them personally and send it to JFK. I'm just saying that is how cheap these things are. And for the whole country to not have them at the major hospital, and they're using the money here on conference for per diems and everything else. That is why the conference is not necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to the financial part. Will be the last part.
But look, these are the ways in which we should engage the government. And look, if the diaspora people listen, Mr. Ismail is in the house. We have to organize ourselves in a way where it is not about trying to get government job. But the reason for which you go that way is because a lot of incompetent people in terms of, and I will actually say this, and I'm serious, in terms of the capability and the desire. You see, the same desire that is lacking in the government that we discuss here is also here in our so-called leadership and organization. Because if you really have to do something that's supposed to lead to something, you have to actually work. You have to actually put effort. You have to actually struggle for it. The same handicap that the government is facing because they don't want to do that. So it's here. So it's easier for you to just show up, have some meetings, meet up with some people. Guess what? Get some government job, and then you go home, get enough money, you come back.
You get it done, man.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Morris.
Look, I wanted to say this, right? I thought about saying in the Bible, my people suffer for the lack of knowledge. And we're suffering right now for the lack of capacity in Liberia. We don't have the capacity to dredge a port. Our government don't have the engineers, they don't have the people that can dredge a free port or a seaport. So in order to have your port regularly dredged, you have to bring in a company to come and dredge your port. They're going to charge you for that. So you're paying pretty much double the money. Look, one of the things about doing business is logistics. If you don't have a good network, you're going to pay more. And that's the issue. Poor country, it costs more being poor. It really does, because everything is more expensive to get to you. So it costs more. So for example, like you're saying, cheap things in America, you can buy them simple. You can go buy shampoo, conditioner for $5, $10, but try to ship it to Liberia, you're probably going to pay $400. So sometimes for most people, it's not even worth it. You just send the money to your family member and tell them to buy it there. Because logistically, it doesn't make sense. And that's what our nation being a poor nation, because you have a foreign company that's running your free port because you lack the capacity to run it, where then you can bring down the cost for your citizens. That's one of the issues. So if you're not capacity building, people are going to bring services and render you service, but they're going to charge you for that. And that cost is going to be transferred over to the consumers. and that's simple. That's just simple. But lastly, one of the things I hope we get from this diaspora conference is twofold. I want us to get voting rights, but with that voting rights, we have to pay taxes. And now I want to see how many people will be open to that idea, because in this country it's built on the mantra of no taxation without representation, right? And then vice versa, no representation without what? Taxation. So if you want to be represented, if you want to have the power to say, this is who I want to represent me as my president or my representative, you have to pay taxes. Let's juxtapose that with the United States government. Most people who are on green card, they pay taxes just like any other citizen, but they can't vote for president. You know that, right? So they're taxing you, but they're not giving the ability to select your representative or your president. So in Liberia, if we want to have the ability to vote for president and vote for representative, are we willing to pay taxes? Maybe they can set a minimum threshold. It might sound elitist, but let's say $1,000 in tax, a yearly tax at a minimum, and you have the ability to vote if you're a dual citizen. Is that something we'll be okay with? Because we'll get the benefit. What are we willing to give back to the Liberian government in terms of money? Right? Is that something that's sound? I think so, because then we might have another 20 or 30 or 40 extra $1 million that the Liberian government is going to get in revenue from us on a yearly basis, just for the ability to vote and have a say in our Liberian politics. And that's what I want to see from it.
Just so you know, every time you send money to Liberia, you pay taxes.
Yeah, but come on, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just telling
you as a green card holder, right? When you go to the store to go buy something, that you pay taxes, but you don't have the ability to vote. So you say that and cry on the American government that I pay my taxes, but you're not letting me vote. You're by the laws, right?
That's not just because you can't vote. That means you don't. It doesn't mean that you don't donate. There are people.
But don't we want an opportunity to vote? Don't we want that? Is that something we're claiming for in the diaspora, that we want to vote?
Yeah, we think we should have a voice to vote.
Then should we also want to pay taxes?
That's what I'm telling you. Right now, when you send money to Liberia, you pay taxes.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What are the taxes? How many people send money in large amount that constitute a minimum of $1,000? Look, I send money on Sendwave, right? If I send somebody $500, I think they charge me $25 to send that money. How many times do I send $500 in a year to somebody?
I'm in your pocket, my man.
No, but I'm just telling you that it's not enough. So if you want to vote, you have to be invested in your taxes. Why can't we do that?
No, okay, but here's the thing. You said $25 is not enough. How many? If you send $500 a month and you pay $25 a month in tax, how many people in Liberia do you think pay $25 taxes a month? They're not a lot. How about people that I own land? I pay property tax. I pay property tax every single year on my property. Am I not paying property? Am I not doing? What? Look, there's a
people were getting angry with me for saying that every Liberian in the country, whether you're making $5 or $100, should be taxed on their income. People are getting mad at me. How can you say that? How can you understand what I'm saying? How can you tax well market women? Tax everybody. Everybody in this country have a tax bracket. What are you making? $20,000 or $150,000? You must pay tax on your income. We're not doing that in Liberia. So the government needs to raise more revenue through taxing people in the country and people in the diaspora, especially if we want to vote. That's what I want to see from it.
You see, Mr. Murray, first, you have to understand, right? The way the government taxes in Liberia, they're not how people in America tax. Here, people tax on purchase. In Liberia, the government tax on import. When that biscuit comes to the port, the government collects its taxes up front. You understand? So by the time you get to the water market woman, the tax has already been paid on that biscuit. The water market woman does not have to pay that tax anymore. Okay?
No, but she's gathering income. I'm talking income tax.
Okay.
What do you make $5 in the country selling biscuits? You still have to pay income tax on that money.
Okay, so you're not talking about sales tax, you're talking about income tax.
Yeah, there's value-added tax, there's sales tax. Yeah, there's property tax, there's income tax also.
You have income tax. I agree. The mechanism to create that, maybe that's something we can talk about. I don't know how they will do that, but hey, if you are, I think you should. I have a business. I pay taxes, but my business is registered. And so I have to go to LRA. I have to get my receipt. I have to show it, and LRA has to tax me. So that's different. But yeah, I believe so. I believe if you are gainfully employed or gainfully working or gainfully indulging in some activity, you should pay taxes. I don't think anybody here would disagree with that.
Don't put a gainful there. When you, if you poor man, you make it less than $24,000. You still pay taxes. It's not gainful, but you still pay taxes in the country.
That's gain.
No, that's what I'm saying. So income, anything that's income, anything that's coming to you as income is taxed.
Tomorrow taking all the time, oh.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Palmer. Let's go to Mr. Kamara. I want to hear you disagree.
If I open my business, in my business I'm making money, how would I pay tax? If I'm losing in a business, I can't pay taxes.
Are you kidding me, Mr. Palmer? You don't pay taxes if you lose it. If you lost
business? No, in America you don't. You have to be gainful. You have to be gainful. Yes. If your business not making money and your expenses are more than the money you are making.
Capital gains tax, right? That's what you're talking about? Or is it a different kind of tax?
No, it's not
regular business tax.
It's just a business tax. If I open my business today, I put 50,000 inside. And in a whole year, I only made 25,000. I lose 25,000. You can't tax me. There's no tax on it. You have to pass that investment. Then you're making money. That is the argument that ArcelorMittal is making to the government. Say we can't give you any money because we're not working in a loss. But anyway, that's a whole different story. Mr. Kamara. Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
Please, I want to hear from you. What is, even though you don't agree with this whole outlay of the conference, if there's anything good that can come out of this conference, what do you think it is?
Mr. Palmer, one of the questions also I ask myself and I like people to ask is, who came to meet the diaspora? Is the diaspora meeting the diaspora? Because the entire delegation, only the president is local.
Yep.
Everybody is the diaspora.
Hey, that was a very general.
Yomli Kanga Lawrence is not a diaspora. She's a local.
Yomli Kanga Lawrence came here, live here for years.
Owns a home here. Yomli owns a home in Pennsylvania. Do. I don't think Dallas they don't own a home yet. So I think
that was here before we went back. He was in Australia.
Oh, you're here for school, man. Anyway, go ahead. I won't stop you. Go ahead.
We got your point. You are right.
You do have a good point. His children live here. All his children live here. Yes.
So, gentlemen, this whole thing, we're just doing something that really doesn't. It's clear that nothing is going to come out of it. The House of Representatives is almost 90% diaspora. The House of Senate is over 80% diaspora. The laws that have been passed are passed by the diaspora. The diaspora is asking the diaspora to create a level playing field, however. So I'm conflicted. But let's see what happens. But let me touch the Morris issue that as diasporan, in order for you to vote, you should pay tax. Yeah, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't expect such a logic to come out of my very sound young man.
Man. I already understood hear what he was saying. I thought you agree with me, but I was wrong.
Because if you have to pay tax in order to vote, you are not a citizen. Okay, you are paying for something. You are not a citizen. There are no citizen anywhere who must pay in order to vote in their own country. So that is not a very bright suggestion.
But no, okay, wait. Because I don't believe that was a suggestion. Right. Because I've had this conversation before, other people. I don't think the suggestion is, let's pay tax so we can vote.
That's what he said.
Wait now. I think I'm not sure exactly the exact word that Mr. Morris said, but what have been raised in different circles that I have been a part of is if you want to vote, if you are standing on your citizenship and say, as a citizen of Liberia, I should be able to vote, then as a citizen of Liberia, you should also be obligated to pay taxes to the government.
The problem is smart, man. Citizenship has obligations and privileges.
I don't see anything smart in what he just said.
No, it's very smart, Mr. Kamara. Your obligation as a citizen is to pay taxes. Your privilege as a citizen is to be able to vote.
Let me land. Mm-hmm. There's nothing smart about what Palmer just said.
Okay, all right.
Let's not waste time on it. So what we are saying is, if I am infinitely, I have absolutely no income. Before I vote, I have to go look for money to pay tax.
No, that's not what we are saying.
So if we're talking against discrimination, Mr. Morris started with the whole discrimination thing. If I am in Bongonima, I am not under any pressure to pay tax before I vote.
Yes.
And you, Mr. Palmer, are also a Liberian with birthright citizenship who lives somewhere, and it is dependent upon you to pay taxes before you vote. Isn't that discrimination?
But that is not what they are saying.
We are
making income in this country, Mr. Kamara. We're not in Burma.
Me, I know the hard time, but if you are in Bendu, Grand Cape County, if you are in Bendu, Grand Cape County, and you have a farm there, and that farm is doing well, you should be under obligation to pay taxes to the government. Just as well as you can claim that you are under obligation or you have the right to vote, you also are under obligation to pay taxes to the government.
I see you struggling to justify the logic
behind that. Making clear sense. Mr. Tower, you agree with us, right? I mean, Mr. Tower is a smart guy. You agree with us.
The example you gave, Mr. Kamara, you talk about people who don't have any maids.
Let me land.
You talk about people who don't have.
Let me land, Mr. Palmer. You're repeating yourself. Let me land, okay? There are Liberians here who are disabled, who do not work full-time like Mr. Morris. There are some Liberians here who do not work at all. So because they're in the diaspora, they cannot vote. If the privilege was given to vote, they shouldn't vote because they're not paying tax?
No.
I keep telling you that.
They should not vote.
Yeah, wait a minute now. Yeah. I keep telling you there are a lot more complexities to this issue than just say as if it's a normal thing. It will have a lot of backlash. So let's not even go to that route. Russians don't have to pay tax in Russia, living in America to vote in Russia. But let me conclude on this whole thing about who should pay tax in the country and who shouldn't pay tax in the country. Gentlemen, Liberia, like you said before, Mr. Palmer, the taxes are collected ahead. When you start a business, you're selling sugar cane, you in business is registered, you pay tax every month, every year, whatever it is. The person that buying that business is not paying tax to you, so you don't have to pay tax on every biscuit somebody else is buying. So it's just that simple. They didn't make the tax system complicated, but the diaspora thing, my brother, is a waste of time because it's diaspora asking diaspora to invest. I don't know what sense that makes.
That's not true. First of all, diaspora means you are actively living outside of the country. So the people living in the country, they're not a diaspora.
The people in the country, they're not in the diaspora. Who told you that? All their houses here.
What do you mean? You have to be actively living outside of the country.
Don't waste my time, man.
They want to get definition behind it. Get definition behind it.
I want to know exactly what you disagree on. Then I'll come to Mr. Tao. Mr. Kamal, I need to know what. So, are you saying that they should not pay taxes, or are you saying they should not vote?
It cannot be a requirement that any citizen must pay to vote. What you are saying, it doesn't matter how you put it. What you are saying is you're asking them to pay to vote.
So they should vote, but they shouldn't have that requirement that before they vote they pay taxes.
But again, I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Palmer. Every Liberian, let me answer your question. Every Liberian, regardless of where they are, under the Constitution of Liberia, should have the right to vote. That's what the Constitution said. Everything you're saying here, you're talking about amendment. You got to amend the Constitution on that.
By virtue of that, they also are under the authority of the
Constitution don't say that.
No, every Liberian every Liberian is taxing that country. If you buy something, if you're selling something, you should be.
You're not living there. You're not buying something or selling something. You don't live there.
But that's what I'm telling you. The fact that we don't live there and we want to have the same rights as the people that live there, then it's not fair to them because they're paying taxes in this country.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris.
We'll get me put in Hall in here. I said no, you said yes. So let's go to the next topic.
Mr. Morris, can I ask you a question, please, before I get
Yeah,
to
sure,
Mr.
Mr. Bradman.
Mr. I promise you I won't leave you on. So one of the things that was a problem before 1980 was taxation without representation. So if people in the US, in the diaspora, not in the US, if people in the diaspora are to be taxed, right? Who is going to be their representative? How are they going to be represented in the government? Should they have a diaspora senator or a diaspora representative?
That's some of the things that has to be weeded out, right? So then once you become a voting bloc, you become a constituent. And you have, somebody who will represent this constituency, right? And those are some of the great things that can come out of it if they're really thinking. Yes, I think if you have an office, they should have an office. I'm going to say they have an office. But
You get asking a tough question now. Now you're struggling to answer.
Let me answer the question, sir. If you have an office of the diaspora in Liberia, right, it should be ran by a diaspora, an active diaspora here who are who is really representing us to the Liberian government and not trying to represent the Liberian government to us. You understand what I'm saying? So I think, number one, yes, we should have a representative where we can vote for maybe one senator or one representative that represent our interests. And they come to us and ask us what we want and all of those things, just how people represent their constituencies. In that same token, like Mr. Kamara keeps trying to say, I would say this just before passing the mic to Mr. Tower. You have certain privileges that you're born with as a citizen of a nation, and you have certain responsibilities.
Voting is one of them.
That's what I'm saying. But paying taxes is a responsibility that you're also born with as a citizen of a country. When I say this person is an upstanding citizen, that means they're paying their taxes, they're law-abiding, and they have all the privileges and rights given to them as a citizen. So you just don't want to pay taxes. You just want to be cheap. You want to get all the benefit, but you want to get all the responsibility behind it. That's why.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think that would be a great what do you call it, addition to the revenue. Mr. Tao, please, your input, sir.
Okay, so look at what happened here. Look at the mistakes and the pitfalls that we have. We don't understand the social and cultural construct of the African society versus the Western society.
Oh boy.
Do you know, because when I first came to this program, we were discussing about so-called climate change and all of this stuff, which is pretty much a con game to lay claim to Africa's forests. And it's already taking place. And I brought up a question, and Mr. Morris said, what are they doing? What are the people doing in the forest? They're supposed to live from the forest. Remember, in the West, they have no ownership. The concept of ownership is actually a superficial, right? You don't own anything in this country. Because the way the society started was that the government and the big families took over and they own everything. Then you lease. You are actually what they call sharecropper. You lease from the banks and the families. That is why you have property tax. Property tax means you don't own that stuff. You continue to pay. We want to take the same concept in and then we want to bring it over there. No, it doesn't work. In Africa, our people own. The clan own their own land. Everybody's attached to land. Mr. Valley, you are from Lofa, from your town. Can you ever be homeless? No, you cannot. You cannot. Because you are attached to land. Here, somebody can tell you that I'm from Georgia, but it can be homeless in Georgia. It means you don't own land. It means you don't own anything. Because I'm trying to address this taxation that is throwing around, but property tax and everything. So the concept doesn't work in Africa. Okay? That is why many places, if you try to tax somebody living in their house that they built, and you're trying to tax them, what are you driving at? What happens if they don't pay it? The next thing is to enforce what? No, that the next thing is to what? Enforce something, and when you enforce it, you're going to what? Evict them from out of their own house? Yeah. No, that is why. That's
why we're poor. We don't have a sense of responsibility to our people. We have to pay taxes, Mr. Tower. What are African and European?
Let Tower finish.
Morris, listen now. You see,
Yeah.
your concept of the West is different from Africa. You have to look at your culture, understand it. So in the West, that is why there is homelessness, because nobody owns anything. Anybody here, you are just leasing, and when you are kicked out, when you can't afford it, you are kicked out and you are homeless. It's different from Africa. So property tax, if you are not generating income to say you build a business that you're generating income from, you can go to primary residence. Look, Russia already addressed this stuff almost 10 years ago. A law was passed that you cannot evict people from the primary home.
Mr. Tao, can I ask you a question,
foreclose
please?
on them.
Mr. Tao.
So these are the concepts.
How do we pay for police and fire?
Why
How you pay for them?
Okay,
how do we pay for the police and fire department?
Listen now, okay.
Your school, the school your child go to, your property tax pay for that school funding.
That is not even it. But look,
No,
you are talking about the US. Yes, you're talking about the US. That's what
Yeah, no,
that's what makes this country great.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Liberian concept,
please.
Mr. Tao.
What makes this country great is that they
people
run
can
your
pay, if people don't pay taxes for the houses that they built, right? Then how do we pay for police and fire?
So look at what happened here. I will come to your question, but
Okay.
I wanted to address the so-called ownership concept first. So it's two different things. Leave the American thing here. Look at your culture and understand why they were the wrong, why the people own their own land. Okay. Now, when you come to the diaspora and stuff, I 100% agree with Mr. Kamara. Where in your constitution that it said, no, if you're a citizen, why should you be taxed for you to vote? And this concept of tax, I am here on this program and I will tell all Liberians here and back at home, any government come and stand from you, refuse to pay tax to them. And this is why. You keep calling for more taxation as if that is the problem that we are having. Instead of us first addressing that all of the taxes and the money that they're collecting, that is being stolen. But instead of us addressing and fixing that, you're even calling to hand the crooks even more money by taking away from the people what they don't have. A market woman that is selling her billabong, that is selling her potato green. Honor Ellen, I was there. They started going around harassing and seizing the market that they have to pay tax. For what? All of the other one that they're collecting. Look, there is more money in that country. So let us first just leave the tax stuff alone. Let us first fix the problem that the amount of money that is being collected already, that it should be used to benefit the country. And if people start to rise up to economically, people will be happy to pay something, but first leave people primary resident alone. So there is money there. The representing the senators, you're wanting to hold on to all this money. Every 6 months they pass themselves another bill so they can, and you want to then hand them more money.
But but Mr. Tao, stop voting those people in. Like you can't
stop voting
corrupt people in.
What?
Then you say I don't want to pay tax because the people corrupt.
No, that is not the point. Look at what happened here. You know that the concept of government that you keep pushing. No, I don't believe in that. I already told you that it's not going to work. You don't have
Mr. Tao, I bet you to not pay your taxes in Texas because they face a rule or they face a children's school. See what will happen to you. Don't give people bad advice.
Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, no,
Mr.
okay.
Morris.
We actually have
Mr.
10
Morris.
minutes left, people.
So, yeah, okay. Let me finish.
What you have to say?
Let me close.
Now, I'm not going to say. I'll give you a minute to conclude, and then we'll go into our closing, please. Conclude, Mr. Katawo.
Yeah. So he's trying to take the U.S. steel, and here I go back how they set their stuff up, and I'm looking at Liberia. Okay, I opened a business there before I could even do anything. They look at the business in Liberia. I've not made a single penny. They told me based on this business, this is tax bracket that you fall in, you must pay it. They tax me right up front. And to close, Mr. Patton was saying something here. If in the US here, I run several businesses. I've done some money where I've gone several 100,000 in the hole. You don't pay. That money stay on the book. If it is the next 4 years until I can make profit and report it, then I pay. If I go 5 years and I'm still in the hole on that money, I don't pay no tax.
Because it's not you. It's an incorporator. It's a different entity that separated from itself.
No. When you have an LLC,
Gentlemen, let's close now. Oh, I gotta go eat.
the individual pay
Where
tax.
you
You
go?
don't know the LLC.
I got beans.
Yeah,
Real
but
beans.
I've learned that.
Okay.
Real
I was saying later. Let me do my closing, please.
Wait.
We still have 10
Before
minutes.
Mr. Morris, before you start your closing, Mr. Tower, Mr. Tower is going to be last. When Mr. Tower talk, I don't want for you to be asking for 30 seconds. You sure
Okay,
you
I will
want
not
to
say
be the
that.
best?
I will not say that. I will not say that.
Go ahead.
Let me let the four of you. Yeah, I agree with you today. I thought we are going to be friendly, but we just agree. Our ideology is just different. Look, let me say this. From ancient empires, right? There's even ancient writings and record keeping of people tax policies in these ancient empires, like Egypt and Babylon and other places like that. Taxation is what makes a nation run. And the more effective your tax policies are, the better ran your nation is. Yes, I get it. There's corruption. People will steal money. People will misappropriate funds in the government, but it shouldn't stop you from paying taxes. The more tax revenue your government have, hopefully, the more they can do, the more services they can render to you. But also it incentivizes you as a citizen to realize that you have skin in the game. You have your hard-earned money that you're paying dutifully to your government, and that should give you the incentive to want to see it be used appropriately. That's why one of the people in this country that go to town hall, they're shouting at the representative. They're so angry. They tell police officer, "I'm paying your salary. You supposed to." They're so entitled to that because they know that they pay taxes, religiously, and thereby the services should be rendered to them because they're taxpayers. Taxpayers are empowered. When you pay taxes, you're empowered. So we shouldn't say Liberian people shouldn't pay taxes. They should pay taxes. They should want to pay taxes. Do your part and then put the fire to the feet of the people who are receiving your tax money so that they can render service to you to make your life better. But thank you for having me on, Mr. Palmer. It's been a great show.
Mr. Palmer, I can go now?
Thank you very much, Mr. Morris. Yes, go ahead, Mr. K.
Already picking grow up
Say Grangy there. Say Grangy there.
The nigga is so out of bounds. I don't think even know what that barrel where you're smart at. Look, Mr. Palmer and guys, capitalism has ever only worked in the West. Because it's a for so many things. It includes culture and custom that entirely belongs to Westerners. Capitalism has now worked for right across the border of Mexico. Hasn't worked. Some things are for some people. And this is what Mr. Morris is not understanding here is we are not saying that people should not pay taxes. We are saying that if you must force people to pay taxes, then you have to show what the taxes are being used for. If you have a budget that 80 to 90% of that budget only goes to administrative costs, after that, the government has to go overseas to beg for money or to borrow money or to look for donations. But you see your representatives within a period of 6 years, they are worth 3, 4, 5 millions. And then you come to a man who gets zinc shot and ask him to pay tax. When a minister can get duty-free at the Freeport, but he cannot get duty-free at the Freeport, but he should pay tax. That's a very good citizen. He's a responsible citizen. We know that back in the days, people were taxed even in their farms. They tie them, put rope on them, put something on their crucible bone, pressure them. They put out money for taxes, never benefited them. So what we are saying is, if you want people to pay taxes, first, you have to begin to clean up yourself, cut down some of these exotic lifestyle that you have given to few 103 people, plus cabinet ministers and autonomous agencies. Cut it down and bring some equitability that the people will see and say, you know what, we too can join into this. I listened to the finance minister saying that he's even intending to increase salaries of professionals. We're talking public officials. Again, and you sit there and say, the woman who get better on her head, she go sell whole day and get 1,500 liberty profit, which is less than $10 US, should be the one paying taxes, while the big boys are getting $3,500 in gasoline. And you say that's being honorable. You get voice. You speaking Minnesota thing for Liberia. That's not the way it works. But thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Mr. Tao, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, it was a very good show. What I would want to say about this is that the government in Liberia should start trying. They should engage the so-called diaspora completely differently. Okay, the government in Liberia, their responsibility, which is a responsibility for the whole nation, is to invest in the social economic structure and the infrastructure of the country to make it livable, to make it conducive, so that if anybody can come in and it's easier for them to move around, for them to navigate the system, and for them to be able to get a foothold in the system and do something. But the government have not done any of those. It doesn't matter how many conferences come to have here. They didn't have to come to me to have a conference, but I went there and I'm catching hell just trying to do something because there is no light. One day transformer blew and I had to buy a generator because it took 3 months. So these are the things that they're supposed to be addressing. Instead of coming here and spend the money they're supposed to use to address those things, they're coming here to park it in the term of pardon. But look, Mr. Kamara just said something. Yes, if you look at it, it's the bulk of the people in the government, the diaspora, and they're coming here. I talked to a couple of them, they're not even at that conference. They are girlfriends' houses. They're coming home, they're showing, no, I'm just telling you, they're showing off the money they're making, they're taking people out to eat. That is what this stuff is about. It has to change. And the last thing here is, Mr. Morris, look, I want for you to do me a favor, please. Take the time and learn about yourself and your people. There's a lot of history about us. The West is actually behind. Most of the things they lay claim to originated from you and your people. The lifestyle and the way of doing things in the West is actually really backward if you look at a lot of things. If you actually look at it critically. I made a statement here about the Africans ruling Europe in 1485. I mean, in 711 to almost 1,000 years, the Arabian Peninsula. And you said, oh, that was the Arabs. You know, that show ended and I couldn't really speak. But no, go ahead and look at the history. I have spent almost 40 years studying that history. The Gibrat Tariq, because an African that became a Muslim is not an Arab, just like you're a Christian. You are not European. Remember, the Arabs have come in and engaged the Africans, and the Africans converted to Islam way before, in 711, before they went to Europe. To prove this, the first batch of slaves that were brought in 1509 to Jamestown, Virginia, did not come from Africa. They came from out of Spain and Portugal and southern France. When the African lost power in 1485, they captured the first 4,000. There were no Arabs amongst them. Because this is the kind of game that the Europeans and the Arabs are playing. So wherever Africans, they downgraded. But it's written, all the records available. Study about yourself and see. Africa have a great culture. The West know the price of everything and know the value of nothing. The African know the value of everything but know the price of nothing. The African don't put price on things. They place value on things. That is why we're able to keep the forest and all of this stuff. Look at the West. Look at Europe. In short years, there is no forest there. They're like termite. In the USA, the big country, you know that there is no forest here? These are replanted forests. In less than 100 years, they cut the whole thing down. The African were able to hold onto the forest. Look, when do you see a log, the entire area cut the mountain open because we play value on things.
Thank you.
They play price on things. Oh, there will be 100 billion in investment, and then they come in and destroy the whole place. And the same people that know nothing about conservation, that know nothing about stuff they want to tell you. So they're reversing your psychology. So look at yourself. Please do me this favor. If you need for me to point some, no, this is not. No, you are a young man. Look, you got the future of Liberia. It's with you guys. And do some good so you can learn some things about yourself. You are very capable. The things that you want to put your mind to. Look, let us not go through this self-denial. We cannot be anything else other than African. To close, do not confuse nationality with ethnicity. You can never be an American. That's nationality. That's a political document. To be an American is ethnicity.
Thank you, Mr. Tao. Thank you, Mr. Tao. Thank you very much. The village I'm from. Mr. Kamara, I'm not entertaining anything from you. The village I'm from, when each household, when they plant, even the people that are fishing and hunt, when they hunt, they can take a certain percentage of their yield. They get to the town chief, they take certain percentage, they give it to the village healer. The village healer don't make fun.
Which village you from?
Don't worry about it. I told you I'm not entertaining anything
from Sierra Leone.
Okay, that's taxation. When you take somebody arrest, what you play, and you get to the chief. That's taxation.
Mr. Palmer, you messed it up.
Why are you doing Sierra Leone? We don't
No,
care.
because we know. We all know this thing. We're from villages too.
That's taxation.
But that's in different context.
Okay, so let me finish now. If you let me learn.
All right, go ahead.
Look, China was a very poor country. China did not adapt the methods of the West. They lower money. They want that look good to them, they took it. Today, China is one of the greatest countries. We don't have to adapt everything in the West. But we can lower money. The one that look good, we can take it and bring it, and we can somehow immerse it, infuse it into what we know. Should somebody who spent 50 years building their house lose their home? No. No, they shouldn't, especially if they don't have money to pay. Okay? You shouldn't lose your home if you don't have money to pay. You should not lose your home. But if you get money, you shouldn't sit down on the money. You sit down in your house. Then who will pay for the fire when the fire brigade? Who will pay for the police? No.
There are already a lot of money available for that.
Oh my!
No.
Your tax money continuously on these things.
Take the gas slip from the minister there.
I was only closing. When it comes to the minister,
take the gas slip from the minister there.
It's funny when Mr. Kamara talk, because these are the UP people. We expected President Boyka to advocate for the cutting in salaries and benefits of ministers and legislators, and he has not done it up to now. So when Mr. Kamara come here and talk about how, the report making too much money, it just boggles my mind.
They're just jealous of the lawmaker and making more money than that.
But thank you guys so much. We always appreciate your time here. Thank you so much for joining us. It's on point. It's a heated. That's why we don't ever agree, and that's why I love about this program. The day we all agree, I will go. I lead the program.
Judgment day.
I agree with Mr. Taro once today, but I take my argument back. I take it back.
All
right, guys.
When I come here, I learn so much about other people and what their thought process is. So I appreciate you guys so much for joining in. I think we lost Mr. Kamara there. I think he had a call coming in. I think the United Party people are calling in.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said.
Okay, uncle wants to see him.
But thank you guys so much. We'll look forward to another Sunday when we will have our host back, Mr. Gayman, who is attending a CMC event. So he can kind of update on what Musa said now. But until then,
the event is in the US.
Yeah, in the US. CMC they say the see what how United Party whole event, and the see where they will whole event too. They'll see what whole more crowd.
Good night, guys. Good afternoon, guys.
have a good night. You have a good night. And to our fans out there and our viewers, I want to say thank you so much for joining Focus on Liberia On Point. This is the longest running program. And we hope you join us next week, Sunday. As always, it's 3 o'clock here on Central and 4 o'clock on Eastern, and of course 8 p.m. in Liberia. You guys have a safe week. Have a very valuable and productive week, and we'll see you all next week Sunday. You have a great day.
We are Liberians.